going on, y'all? It's your boy J.H. Gibbons here.
And we'll see.
And welcome to yet another episode of the Achromous Podcast, episode 85. We want to thank you for joining us this Sunday, promptly at 9:30 a.m. We know you got a lot to do today. Happy Labor Day to those who are celebrating it. Let's dive right in. If you are listening, that means you are an Apple Podcast or Google Podcast or even Spotify. If you're watching our beautiful smiling faces, here's what you need to do, because I know you're on YouTube. You need to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. So the next time that you hop on YouTube, you're scrolling down your feed, that first video of episode 85 of the Achromous Podcast will pop up and you'll be able to listen to it. And most of all,
it is free to do so.
Unbelievable.
Each one of those things, right? Yeah, it's kind of hard to believe, but we've been saying this consistently for 84 weeks. This is the 85th time, so we're going to say it again. It is free to do each one of those things. If you really enjoy our content, make sure you give us a like. Subscribe to it. Subscribe is free. Remember, we discussed that last episode. And then turn on that notification bell. So as Jay mentioned, you're going to get everything that we have to offer to you. Anything Achromous, you'll be the first to get it. And then once you've educated yourself and you got some gems, go pass that along. Go ahead and share that with someone that you care about, that you feel like can grow and have some emotional development, growth of any kind that's going to be beneficial to them and for you.
100%. We'll see. And what a week it has been, guys. Look, if you were not here for last week's episode 84, we took some time to dive in a little bit more on the Achromous side, what we do with the podcast, what we're doing with our store, and why we're doing this in general. That's why we named it Why Achromous. So if you did not get a chance to watch that, to listen to that, you can pause this right now, go check it out, or even wait till after this so you can get an entire scoop of all the things that we do, the reasons why we do it, and then you'll be able to have a better opportunity to understand the community that we are building.
Yeah, it was really awesome to kind of reflect on that and to just reflect on our journey through this process. It just reminding us of our why and why we are so consistent and committed to doing this, and why we love to be able to share our gift with the world and to grow with you, with a community like-minded such as us. So it was really nice to give a really good insight. I know we've definitely had episodes we discussed and we touched on it here and there, but that episode was definitely dedicated to educating everyone about what Achromous means, what it stands for, and what we represent. So please definitely go back and check it out. It wasn't even a long episode. It was more of a gratitude and a thank you to you for being a part of our journey.
100%. We do want to thank you for being part of this journey. And as we always say, I mean, some of the most awesome things that we do with the Achromous Podcast specifically is we always have that opportunity to watch others grow and for them to be able to tell their stories to us so that you out there could be inspired or motivated to jump out there yourself, to dive into what you believe your purpose is and chase the goals and the dreams that you've always had. So today, we are delighted to welcome someone on the show that I know we've been in contact for quite a few months now, and we've finally been able to get her. She is a Russian-born musical artist. She is a songwriter who has been on numerous house music releases. She is a warrior of love. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rona Ray to the Achromous Podcast.
I'm here.
Rona, how are you? Yes.
I'm doing great. I'm doing awesome. How are you guys?
We are doing fantastic. We are blessed this Sunday. We want to thank you once again, Rona, for joining the Achromous Podcast this Sunday. And I got to say, I did take some time, and I will see has as well, to check out some of the music that you had. And I got to say, you have an incredible voice. And I know many of the time for many of our guests, including yourself, we want to go back and see exactly when you found out that you had this talent, when you determined that you had this voice that you're able to use to bring people together and really surprise people. So I want you to take us back in time with you and tell us exactly when you understood that you had a talent.
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me. Like, it's really an honor to be here. Okay, so honestly, I think it's all my mom's fault that I found out. I don't know, she found out that I have some kind of talent because my mom has a diploma for music. She did jazz piano. And I guess she was the first one who kind of directed me, in this direction. Oh, what am I saying? English is not my first language, whatever. So yeah, she was my first music teacher for sure. And she just noticed that, everything I hear, I can hum the melody like without any mistakes. And like my intonation is good or whatever. Of course, I didn't realize none of that. When I was a kid, all I liked was attention. Because, yes, at the age of 4, I was already on stage, participating, winning some competitions. Yes. And yeah, I just liked the attention. I didn't quite realize that, I have a talent or I have a purpose. Who understands anything at this age, right? So, I don't know. It's just something that I couldn't live without anymore because I started so young, and as I was getting older, I was getting more and more infusing myself into music. I was listening to a completely different genres of music, from jazz to like some rock and Pink Floyd and Rachmaninoff, which is like, classical music, everything, pretty much everything, trying to expand myself. I don't know when I realized it, to be very honest. I just couldn't live without it. That's about it.
Wow. I like that take. I like that. You just couldn't live without it.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful, like when you have a God-given ability, it is true that sometimes you don't necessarily know that you have it until you're like, oh, well, I'm a little different here. I got a voice on me. I can sing, I can perform, I can do something with this. And I think that's incredibly powerful that your mother was able to facilitate that and to help you get to that point. So maybe the first time that you ended up singing, whether that was on stage or in front of friends or family, how did their reactions help to give you confidence that something about you was really different?
Oh, I was a weird kid. As I said, like I started real early and I was confident in whatever I was doing. I lost it over the time. But like when I was a kid, I was a very confident kid. I remember when my mom brought me to the concert of an orchestra, like jazz orchestra, like big band kind of stuff. And I just went to the front and started dancing. Like I was so obnoxious but confident. It's so cool. Sometimes I wish I was like that again.
The innocence of a child, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we are our most brave then.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
100%. I
Um,
mean, do you consider yourself an extrovert? Because it sounds like you gravitate to that attention. You love the roar of the crowd or the applause or eyes on you. Do you consider yourself an extrovert, or are you still more of a homebody? You're still more of a introvert, or is it a combination of both?
Combination. I think it is a combination because
Mm.
I think I'm quite a shy person, and many times I really need my space and I don't want to see anybody. But sometimes I really like here in Poland. I moved here in March, and I still don't really have friends here. And I have the need to like go out and like meet some people, because if I'm by myself all the time, like it's like I'm trying to be self-sufficient and not need anybody, but like I can't help it. I still need to get out there. So probably a combination of both.
Sure, sure. And you did mention that you've only been in Poland for a little while. Could you tell us a little bit more about your past and where you're from and what actually brought you to Poland?
Okay, so this is a very long story. I was born in Russia, but it's not the big Russia. I was born in Kaliningrad. Kaliningrad is the exclave between Poland and Lithuania, and it's basically an occupied German territory that somehow became a part of Russia after the Second World War. So it's quite an interesting place on its own. Being born in Russia, I never really felt Russian. Even like when I come to Moscow or St. Petersburg, I say, I'm coming to Russia. Like you don't feel like you're a part of the country. You're just some piece of land where people speak Russian. That's the way I felt all the time. But also because of my parents, because um, my parents were supporting opposition from as long as I remember, since I was a kid. So all this propaganda that's happening right now, I've like when I started like thinking back, I felt it in my childhood even. Like if we go to the school, and when I started first singing songs in English, and it was like not accepted. It was like it's been happening for such a long time, honestly, as I think about it. So yeah, my family was very different from everybody else, I guess, from the majority. And I was growing up listening to American music and watching American movies, and I found it very hard to connect with other kids and other people. So I was kind of like a loner most of the time. But my mom made sure that I am busy and I have singing classes, piano classes, acting, gymnastics, whatever. Like I was a busy kid. I always had something to do. I went too far back now. Yeah, the reason why I got to Poland is honestly a miracle. I applied for work visa for Poland before the war started, and the first time my application got declined. The second time I applied for my visa the first day of war, the very first day. And somehow the letter that I wrote to the consul about my music career and how I used to work with, the States, people from the States in Europe for a very long time, it just matched the situation, I guess. Because if I was in Russia right now, I wouldn't be able to make no music. I wouldn't be able to get paid no royalties because of like the financial situation. I honestly wouldn't be able to do anything. I would have to like give up my entire career, because ever since I started writing songs, I was writing them in English. Um, I always wanted to be international. I never tried to do something for Russian market. So there are so many reasons for me not to be there. That's why I'm here. I was traveling back and forth between Russia and Berlin for the past 8 years before the pandemics. When the pandemic started, I wasn't able to do that anymore because we had this Sputnik vaccine that was not accepted in other countries. So I was stuck in Russia for 2 years. And now we're here. Like, I guess it's a very long story, but that's what it is.
Well, it sounds like it all worked out in the best way that it could, right? Because you're
Yeah.
still able to pursue your passion and
Mhm.
songwriting, music, in your
Mhm.
career. I wonder, would you say like developing those skills and your talent at such a young age? Would you say that's helped you to like where you are now with like how you approach adversity and like dealing with different circumstances that come your way? Has that helped to mold that, especially within your career, right? Where I would imagine there's always some sort of adversity to overcome in some fashion, right?
Yeah.
As you mentioned, with being a little more introvert, extrovert, where I wonder, like, would you say there's like two sides to how you approach these things? Where it's like, Rona, the performer, the person that the world sees, and then you're by yourself, and it's just you and how you approach, life and obstacles.
I never thought about it like that, to be very honest. But one thing I know that I became more like a go-getter with time, because before I would shy away and maybe not try all I can to reach my goals. And recently I've changed, like when it comes to important things. The first time I didn't get visa, I came there the second time. Now the same thing here. Like if I don't get the residence permit, I will be fighting. Like I became more of a fighter, but I don't know if it has to do like with like bipolarity of my being. I don't know, as an artist and non-artist. I I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Mm.
But yeah, I had a lot of things that happened to me in life that made me more of a fighter for sure. There's like a whole bunch. Like I don't want this to be like a 10 hours show about my life, but yeah, I had some experiences for sure.
No, it's great to hear that. Because we're all about, the journey. We're all about, like-minded individuals who try, right? We
Yeah.
all try, And it's awesome to hear that part, right? Because a lot of the times we just kind of hear the good side of everything. We don't hear like when, you know, we are in those moments when we have to fight. And like you said, being a fighter and understanding what that is and just not giving up on yourself, maintaining that hope and, you know, pursuing what's important to you, what drives you, you know, your passions. How do you feel about that, Jay?
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I think what you're doing, Rona, is you're moving through fear instead of stopping at it when you get it or when you
Yeah,
get to it, you know, and
yeah.
it
Mm.
seems like it's just so easy for you to do because it's innate, right? You seem to be born a fighter, you seem to be someone who's bold, who's out there, but also you have reservations about yourself, you know. There's a great combination there, and I can understand how you became such a very incredible artist. I got to say, I did end up looking at one of your videos on YouTube. Um, I actually like the song in it, but it's a different version. It's the soulful version
Yeah.
of, I think it's like Hard to Stay Away, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know which
That is an incredible song and
one.
an amazing video. And I just want you to take us through it because I'm sure some of our community may not have seen the video yet, and we'll be sure that they do.
Mhm.
But could you take us through the creation of the music video and the song and how that all came about?
You mean the video? I know the one you're talking about. So the song originally was a house track. The house
Mhm.
track that probably was the most successful one I've done with a producer from Dominican Republic, Gazelle, who is very talented. He is multi-instrumentalist. He can do any kind of genre. And actually now we're trying to form this kind of band or brands together because this first song was quite successful for me. It had, I think now it has 136,000 streams on Spotify. To me, it's, yes, it's not much, but for me it is.
That's incredible.
Okay.
That's incredible.
That is incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, he sent me this stripped down Rose version of the song, instrumental. I decided to re record it and basically make the video. The video itself was quite random. It's just, I did it with one very talented videographer from Kaliningrad. I was back in Russia back then. And I met him through dancers. In the beginning of pandemics, I started going to dance classes. And it's also the whole entire story because it was the first time when I found my community in Russia. It was the first time because it was so hard for me to get accepted anywhere else. And those people, it really was like a huge damn family to me. And I really miss them. I really miss these guys. So this videographer, he always was taking videos of us dancing, and I just knew that he's cool and talented. It was no plan for the video, like
Mhm.
Oh,
nothing.
wow.
I just chose the location. I invited him. I invited the girl who was like helping me out to like make sure everything looks nice and stuff. Who is a photographer, very talented photographer too. And we just made the video. I don't know how that happened, to be very honest. It was super random. Yeah, it's just like when you work with the right people, when you collaborate with the right people, it always gonna be right. The outcome is gonna be great. I found it the hard way. There were many times when I was working with people on music who were also very talented, but there was just no connection. This chemistry, just like in relationships, is so important to have.
Mm.
Like once you have it, nothing can go wrong, really.
Mhm. Absolutely. And it's crazy because you can sense that through his camera. I mean, you can't see him, but you can tell that you are having a, I don't know, there's a connection that you're showing through the camera
Yeah.
within that video, from the movement to the window to the walk down the stairs and all of that, just the interconnecting portion with it and the fact that it's soulful. It just I watched it repeatedly. It did something to me because I was like, there's something special about the artistry here in this version of it. And the fact that you said this just kind of happened organically is incredible, right? But I think that's where a lot of the magic happens, right? It's in
Mhm.
that unplanned space. It's in the let's just go with it and see how it feels. Let's really feel the music. Let's fall
Yeah,
in love with the art that we are creating. And then it turns out to be one of the best projects that you were on.
yeah, for sure. I also think it was like kind of the first experience of me making a video. We did something before in the past, but I'm gonna tell you all about it. It was another
Go ahead.
crazy. My mom and dad were like trying to like make videos of me, which I'm hiding. I don't want to show them to nobody. They're somewhere in YouTube. Yeah. But there was the first one that was at least like semi-professional, and I really love the song as well. I I love it. I don't love everything I do, but this particular one, yes, I enjoyed singing it. I enjoyed making the video, and as I said, yes, I felt this familiarity with people who were in the room, like helping me out with the video. So that is very important.
And would you say this was your favorite one to do? Your favorite video and
So
song?
far, yes, for sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm trying to find somebody over here to work with as well because there was the only one basically so far, the only video that looks good and presentable, and that's
Mm.
I think I'm not ashamed of.
Well, I think that's the beauty of art. It's up to the interpreter, of the listener, the viewer, the person out there who's taking it all in. And when I saw it, I was like, yeah, this is incredible. There's something powerful about it. And I'm a huge fan of storytelling. So putting that all together, the way that it flowed, it told a story to me. And I was just like, yeah, I gotta ask Rona about it, how it all came out. And the fact that it is organic is really special. It makes it that much more impactful of a song.
Yeah. Y'all making me blush. That's all the
Hey,
good things about me.
hey, it's all true, all truthful. Just what we see, the gift that you're giving to the world, right? It's appreciated, and as Jay mentioned with the artistry, it just made me wonder, and just kind of reflect and think more so on like what inspires you now, like having experienced that, which is something you really enjoy being a part of and working towards to create something organically beautiful, right? What would you say is that thing that draws you to when you're songwriting or you know coming to sing or perform? What is that inspiration that keeps you going now?
You know what's weird during the pandemics, because like everybody, everybody's life has changed and we spend so much time at home. I was writing so much music that I kind of don't need to seek inspiration anymore. It just became kind of a skill. I don't know if it's a good thing or not, to be very honest, because it's like my mind always gives me ideas, always reminds me of some stories, my own stories or my friends' stories, or something I've seen or somebody I admire. It's like always like just coming to me. Like I don't need to seek inspiration and just coming to me. I don't know like what it is, like some crazy
Yeah,
connection with the universe. It's like, one of my favorite artists said, and I think a lot of great artists said that when you're writing songs, it doesn't feel like you write a song. It feels like you translate something that already exists in the universe for the people, like translate it, like put it into the language that they understand, kind of thing.
it's deep. Wow,
Yeah, like
wow,
you don't create, it's already there.
makes sense. Makes sense. I get it. Wow, and I never even thought about it that way before.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
about you, Jay?
No, that's
Yeah,
very
that's the
deep.
first. That's deep,
Yeah. But it makes perfect sense, right? I think even going
right?
back to the music video you did, it's like you're bringing that out and you're showcasing it to the world. And I think that makes artists like yourself so unique. And I look in the States, here in the US. I mean, we'll see. I know at least the music genres that we're pretty familiar with have declined in quality. And this is just my own opinion.
I
um
second.
Okay, so it's both of us, right? And I know you also want to bridge that international gap as well. And I think our country could use music like yours. It could use lyrics like yours, storytelling like yours, because I feel as though the music that is really popular here now is taking away of the art of music in general. I think, as you mentioned, you're basically taking parts of the universe, and you're expressing it out to, people who are there to hear it. But I think here there's an element of the art that is lost. So have you ever thought of coming to the US at all, whether it is to do a
Absolutely.
concert or performance?
Absolutely. There
Yeah.
are many people who promised to bring me over. There are many situations that just didn't happen because I understand it's very difficult and it's expensive. And unfortunately, very unfortunately, it all comes to money. And you can imagine how many incredible artists are out there that you never heard of.
Yeah.
I discover them every single day. There are so many of them. There is so much incredible art that people are creating, but it's very hard to like break this wall of commercialized music and all the amount of money and efforts that people been like building this up and like putting into this type of sound. That yeah, it's quite difficult. I really respect people who artists who made it from the underground into commercial, like for instance her, you know like
Mhm.
yes,
I
like
love me some her.
this kind of yeah, this is
Yeah.
the like this is the victory. This is what a lot of us underground artists are dreaming to achieve, honestly. And I don't know like what kind of team. Of course, it never depends on one person. It's the work of a huge team of people. Of you need to find like it's so important. I'm like hectic, but whatever. It's very important to find your team, your people who really believe in you. I don't know. It's nothing more important than that, I guess. You can do nothing alone. It's impossible.
That's very true. And yeah, I mean, the team that you have around, I think would you what you do when you're especially when you're building a team. I think there's so many people who have different talents that they bring to the table,
Right.
and they have different connections. They may have
Mhm.
different opportunities that they've gone through where they've learned certain lessons and can guide you through that. I absolutely believe in that team. So while you are in Poland now, do you have any plans on sort of building a team there, or are you still thinking that okay, this is just more of a temporary position I'm in? I still am looking for that home.
Oh, well, I have one DJ I teamed up with, and we perform. Like, he helps me to find some gigs here and there, and we make some music together as well. But unfortunately, for the most part, here in Poland, people don't really want to collaborate. Like, I don't know why. I was trying to reach out to several producers and musicians. They kind of want to stay in their own world, and I'm not used to that mentality.
Mm.
I was been working mostly, remotely with people from other places. Um, of course, the best thing is to find a team where you are. It's the best thing ever, but I don't think it's possible. So I'm trying to do the second best thing and just find people from anywhere and make it work, I guess.
Yeah, that's the right way to go. I think it's very undersold that doing things on your own and going out on your own and trying to build things from scratch is incredibly difficult. I think, especially with the rise of social media, a lot of people go there and they see, well, okay, this artist made it, and man, I've never heard of this person, and okay, this person's cool. But they have to understand that there are millions and millions of others who are still trying to climb that ladder and get to the top and get noticed. And I find it a lot more difficult these days to stand out unless you're doing something completely crazy. And
Yeah.
I feel as though when you go that route, you're then losing an essence of yourself, because you're saying, I not only am I stepping out of the box, I'm stepping out of character in order for people to pay attention to me. And I think the backside of that is that okay, now you have to keep up with that same character that the
Yeah.
whole world has been introduced to. And it's
Mm.
sometimes might not be the real you, which is why we see so much burnout. We see a lot of artists fade and fall into deep despair. So what are some ways that you were able to hold on to your own uniqueness?
Not running after money, I guess. Because, yeah, if you want financial success, you have to compromise, unfortunately. I'm just a very stubborn person. I don't like compromising unless I uh, really want to work with this person or artist or whatever. It's hard for me to compromise. I met a lot of people who are trying to like break me, no, not break me necessarily, but just like move me in the direction that they want to go, and this happens a lot. And especially when people have power over you and they invest in you, they will not let you do exactly what you want to do. And I could use these opportunities in the past probably and make way more money than I am making right now. But I'm just stubborn. I'm just gonna be myself, whatever.
And I think that's where the deepest connections come in with fans, right? I mean, those who are underground and who are literally dedicating their entire life, their entire their whole style, their uniqueness, their look to their fan base. I think a lot of fans will stand for you, so to
Yeah.
speak. They'll stand by your side. They'll go through the ups and downs. And I think that when they do get a little bit more commercialized, you lose that close knit community that you built for so long, because it's you're kind of you're throwing darts in the ocean hoping that somebody else will hear you,
Mhm.
and versus that lake that you're typically used to. So I and I think that's perfect advice to give out to any of the artists out there who may be coming up. It's to stick with it, stay stubborn, right? Stay
Be
on your
patient.
own, yep,
Yeah.
stay on your own unique path, and keep growing that way. Is there any other advice that you would give to an artist who is in your same situation? Maybe they're moving abroad, or they're in between what they want to do next, and they have this talent but they're just trying to find a way through. Is there some advice you would give to them?
Uh, there are not a lot of things you can force with music, music career, and yeah, like, but it's like it depends on the artist. It depends on what they want to do, honestly. Um, For me, yes, I've chosen a very hard and long way. I'm in my 30s right now. I started like when I was a kid, right? So it's like a super long way. And I don't even know if I ever reach uh, the type of success, the kind of success that I want to. Um, so, yeah, I mean, there are people who trying to, go viral. And if they want to do it, they should do it. There are other people who want to do something very authentic and unique and different. They should absolutely do that too. So yeah, just listen to your inner voice, like all this, how do you call it, obvious stuff. Just yeah, stay yourself, find your people, and one more thing. Let me remember this. Uh, start where you are, like take what you have and do what you can, yeah, something like this. That's definitely what I've been doing ever since my teen years. Don't wait for nobody. Start yourself. It's a good thing to start yourself, even if you don't have a team yet, and do whatever you can with what you have, and then probably this will bring the right team into your life and people who will support you.
I think that's,
Mm,
even though it does sound like it may or should be obvious to many people,
Yeah,
I think
of
it's
course.
very tough for some people to really grasp that, because you're right, you
yeah,
get frustrated, you may not get as many views on something or as many listens on one thing that you worked your ass off to create. And then,
Mhm.
you get really down on yourself. You're like, man, am I doing something wrong? But there's always, the only people who end up failing are those who quit.
very
So
true.
you must continue to keep pushing. You must continue to keep growing. There will be ebbs and flows, but once you understand what your purpose is and you keep driving towards that, and even if that purpose does change a bit, as long as you're on track, as long as you keep accomplishing the goals that you set for yourself, you will eventually get there. Eventually, I use that word all the time because we may have a clock for ourselves, but life is just incredibly unpredictable.
Very true.
So you have to keep pushing, you have to keep growing, keep honest with yourself, keep on track with your purpose, and eventually you'll get to that point.
Exactly. Thank you for put it into words for me.
No, that's that's all from you. That's all from you and to our
Love
audience.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, it's crazy. I think in today's world, there's just so many things that are happening. There's so many distractions. And I know a lot of us who are listening right now are probably stuck in a distraction, or they're stuck in a moment and they're trying so hard to get out of it. And as Rona just mentioned, just keep pushing, keep being stubborn, keep growing, keep trying to understand exactly where you belong in this world, whether you are a musician or an artist or an actor, whatever field you've decided that this is where I belong, both my talents and my interests play a role in where I am. I'm going to keep growing. I'm going to find it. I'm going to be successful because there are millions and millions of people out there for you, Rona, who are looking and waiting to hear your next project. So, speaking of that, what other plans do you have for the world,
That's too much.
Rona?
No, for real. I work on several projects at the same time. I have like, oh my God. I don't know, man. I don't even know what's the next song that's gonna be released because I have the project Chiffon Zoo with producers from the UK. I have one project with the producer from Russia. I have the project with Azelle from Dominican Republic, and many, many others. I think the next thing in September, I'm gonna be releasing an acoustic version of "Walking with the Wolves," which is a beautiful song that I wrote about strength, like strong, independent women.
Hey.
That's powerful.
Yeah, actually inspired by a friend of mine who is a dancer who used to be my um, dance coach back in Russia. So yeah.
Powerful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's storytelling at its finest. I think that is such a lost art, and especially you being a songwriter and being able to translate that to your audience. I think it's so important. It's vital, and I'm sure you enjoy and love doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I only do what I enjoy. I'm so
Wow.
selfish.
Yeah.
That's life.
Yeah.
You know, believing in yourself and not losing hope and seeing it through, regardless, seeing it through. Stepping stones, right? Taking
Yep.
those stepping stones, one moment at a time. That's all we can do with the time we have. So that's amazing to reflect and to hear that, and it's inspiring, to be honest with you. To have that mindset, to have that outlook, the adversity, and to just channel out that energy that's not for you, right? Because we live in a time where it's so easy to be like everyone else and do with everything that you see. Is the term or dare to be different, right? It may sound a little cheesy or it's like old school, but it's true. Dare to be
Sure.
different. Like we're in a time now where you need to be your authentic self. We hear a lot, it's cliched, but to really act on it and to live by that, have that be a part of your mantra, if you will, stand on it is a wonderful sight to behold, and it's really motivating, inspiring to hear that from someone else. So thank you for sharing that and being fearless to stand for yourself, to stand for what you believe in, and continuing to do that. I'm sure it was very inspiring, not just for myself to hear, and Jay, for our Achromous community, and for your community as well, Rona. So thank you. Just wanted to say that.
Thank you
Yeah.
too. Thank you so much.
No, 100%. I mean, it's number one, it's a pleasure having you on here. And I know that some of our audience members want to get in touch with you. I'm sure they're going to check out Hard to Stay Away. And if they are thinking of doing so, they probably already done it now because we talked about it. But for those out there who are watching, how can they find you online, Rana?
The best way to find me is probably on Instagram, which is Rona Ray underscore. Um, Spotify, everywhere else, every platform, Rona Ray. Just look for me. But damn it, I also have Chiffon Zoo. it's my other project and it's kind of difficult to write, but maybe you put it into description. That would be great.
We will.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we want to make sure that we are connecting our communities together. You are now officially a part of the Achromous community, so welcome. You do not have to feel alone wherever you are, even though you're joining us virtually here. You are always welcomed in our community, and we want to once again thank you for joining us, and we want to thank you all out there for listening. If this is your first time joining the Achromous podcast and you're watching episode 85, you're listening to Rona Ray's message, and her story and her ability to sing is incredible, and you want to hear more, of course, you know where to find her. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, thank you for joining us. If you are watching us on YouTube, it can mean only one thing. It means that you need to take some action for us. You need to hit that like button. You need to hit that subscribe button. And would you please hit that notification bell the next time you hop on YouTube and you see our beautiful smiling faces here? You will understand that this is episode 85. You understand what you're going to get out of this. And I can't believe I'm saying it again. We'll see. But most of all,
I got you. Don't even worry. I'll tell you.
Thank you.
It's free to do so. It's free to do each one of those things. Like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and also share the content if you're enjoying it, right? Each one teach one is what we're all about. So this is a perfect opportunity to do it. Look, you got a ton of episodes this gym from Rona Ray. We appreciate it. So put it to use. Stand your ground. Be you. Be authentic. Be a part of that movement and what it represents, right? Believe in yourself. Be a part of hope. And that's what we're given to remind to you today. So please make sure to do all those things, because I'm going to keep emphasizing it to Jay each.
And you'll never catch me saying that word. I just can't believe that we are giving such great gems away without a cost. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you again. Rona, we want to thank you again for joining us as well. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy J.H. Gibbons here.
And we'll see.
Hey.